On Monday, start your week off with Today. Bryant Gumbel returns, and I'm Jane Pauley. Joining us, Clint Eastwood, Jodie Foster, Sean Connery, and Harrison Ford with an inside look at the latest Indiana Jones adventure. All that plus some politics with Barry Goldwater. That's beginning Monday on Today.
5 car dealers and a leasing company consistently promise more after-the-sale service than all the competition. You may already know us as the Plain Talk dealers, where a higher standard of service is part of every deal. As a group, we are the Medcore dealers. Individually, we go by these well-respected names: Rosedale Chevrolet, Freeway Ford, Prestige Lincoln Mercury, Brookdale Ford, Suburban Chevrolet, and 20th Century Leasing. Medcore, your Plain Talk dealers.
This week's People takes you behind the scenes as the boss and new main squeeze Patty Scalpa show their love on stage. People shows you her past life off stage. Exactly where did Patty come from before she replaced New York model Julianne Phillips and brought Bruce back to his Jersey roots? Then Don Johnson's Ocean Race, where Streisand didn't make waves. Rocker's Sugar Cubes is suddenly hot from Iceland, and so much more. This week, the boss's love song. People, that's what we're all about.
The Cosby Show, weekdays right here on TV 11.
And now, stay tuned for the best of Carson. From Hollywood, The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. This is Ed McMahon along with Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra inviting you to join Johnny and his guests from Mr. President George C. Scott, comedian Joanne Astro, and the amazing Randy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Easy, easy. Who were you expecting? Telly Savalas? What a group.
Right.
Good evening. I'm Johnny Carson, and you're the audience. And let's keep it that way. Now, those of you, by the way, who forgot to set your clocks back, will start laughing at this monologue in about an hour. I was right there. In a good mood tonight? We got a good show for you. And you people who came out to California for the last weekend, you've seen our rainy season. That was it, Saturday and Sunday. Did you ever see so much rain? You see, Los Angeles people are not used to rain. We had about, what, an inch of rain?
Yeah.
Absolute panic in Los Angeles. People in Los Angeles have a hard time handling any water that doesn't have bubbles and a slice of lime in it. Anyway, Eric Dickerson of the Rams is
Gone.
gone. I tuned in the marathon from New York. Dickerson beat him back to Indianapolis. Poor Rams are not doing too well. I saw the game the other day. Instead of a wave, the fans mooned the players. Now, you know, I live at Malibu. I pick up the paper this morning, and guess who are leasing a home out at Malibu? Jim and Tammy Baker. I should have known. I saw a Maybelline truck pull up the other day. Just down big van. Guys were unloading stuff. Anyway, I haven't run into him yet, but I probably will. Tammy is a shrewd businesswoman. You know, she records. She made a record, an album, but her records are all shaped like boomerangs, so you can't throw them away. Speaking of Jim and Tammy, did you read the Jerry Falwell resigned today as head of the moral majority. Yes, yeah. Jerry's going back to his old job as test pilot for water slides. What? A lot going on. This is election day, I guess, all around the country. And here in Los Angeles, we are having what they call the local propositions. Now, only in Los Angeles would they come up with some weird propositions on the ballot. Are you familiar with Proposition G here in Los Angeles?
No, I'm not.
It would make it a crime. Proposition G would make it a crime to have a silkworm missile in your glove compartment on the Ventura Freeway during rush hour. They expect a big turnout in West Hollywood. Now, the big issue in West Hollywood is whether it's legal for more than 2 people to stand in a doorway during an earthquake. Some of you forgot to set your clocks back, didn't you? Oh, here's an interesting item. Judge Wapner. You all know Judge Wapner? Okay. He just offered Supreme Court nominee Douglas Ginsburg a week as guest judge on People's Court so he could get some experience. Now, here we go again. They're gearing up for another fight back in Washington. As you know, Reagan nominated Judge Robert Bork a couple of months ago, and he got shot down. So he has now nominated Judge Douglas Ginsburg to be on the Supreme Court. Douglas Ginsburg is 41 years old. The Supreme Court? He's younger than the Supremes. How can... He might be a fine man, but I don't know. Reagan's got a big thing with bearded judges. You notice Bork and now Ginsburg, and Bork is trying to help Ginsburg. He said, when he goes in front of the committee, part your beard in the middle. And if Ginsburg doesn't make it, Reagan's going to appoint the Smith brothers. Anyway, the president said, Reagan said just the other day at a press conference that his new nominee is going to be tough on crime, which puts the entire Reagan administration in jeopardy. Now, I'm not trying to put Judge Ginsburg down. Did you ever hear of him before?
No.
He hasn't had a lot of bench experience, apparently. He's only been a judge for 1 year, and that was on Dance Fever. We'll keep you informed as to what's happening as the time goes by. Have you been reading about Prince Charles and Princess Di? Yeah, apparently they're being living in separate castles. Tell me about it. It shows you can happen, even with royalty, right? They're having a few problems, but fortunately, Charles, pretty smart cookie, made a prenuptial agreement with Princess Di. If he divorces her, she gets $400. $400. But she gets the Falkland Islands. I hope it works out. The problem is, apparently, the royal couple prefer different lifestyles. She wants to party and dance. He wants to windsail with his ears. What else is happening today? Today is the birthday of the Earl of Sandwich. Yeah, do you know the sandwich is named after the Earl of Sandwich? In 1762. Also, along with that, next week, 7-Eleven across the country are celebrating the birthday of another great food great, the Duke of Corn Dog. You don't get the jokes out, they're just not going to work. Interesting thing on the news last night, China is having a big shakeup. They're having a changing of the guard, and their new, what would you call it, elected general, what was it, chairman, the new Chinese chairman is Zhao Xingyang. Zhao, I think that's correct. Zhao, well, who knows? Anybody know the correct pronunciation? That's what I thought. Zhao Xingyang, new Secretary General of the party. He won by a score of, it was 1 billion to 4. Very, very popular. I'm still reeling from two rather strange television specials were on this past week. First, William Shatner was on one the past week trying to contact the spirit of Harry Houdini. How many of you saw that show? Kind of interesting. Matter of fact, the amazing Randy was on that show, and he's our guest. James Randy is one of our guests tonight. They didn't get through. Unfortunately, they did not get through to Harry Houdini. Now, Mrs. Houdini gave up about 30 years ago. They tried it. No, they tried it for 30 years, but they held this seance. But they did get his machine. And the machine says, "This is Houdini. I'm not in right now. I'm playing cards with William Casey." But they got... That's what it said on his machine. Don't boo me. And then in another warm show, Telly Savalas hosted Return to the Titanic. Did you see that? You know, yeah, you know, when you want to do a special where you're going through the artifacts of the dead, you want a warm, sensitive host like Telly Savalas. Hey, look, some old Broad Shaw. Telly's a nice man, but he's just this side of Stallone. Hey, what is this here? Hey. Next week, I understand he's going out to Little Bighorn and go through Custer's pants for loose change. I want to see that one. I don't know if you saw that show. When he opened the Titanic safe, they found 100 shares of AT&T stock. And it was exactly the same price today as it was in 1912. Okay. Hey, what's that, sweetheart? Oh, weird. Anyway, tonight, we got a good show. Outside of the amazing Randy, I just saw him backstage, and I said, did you ever wake up in the morning and just not feel amazing? You know, we booked you under the amazing Randy, and you get up and you say, hey, I don't feel amazing. But he's going to be here in Amazes, and we have a young comedian by the name of Joanne Astro is with us, and one of the greatest actors and a nice guy, George C. Scott. Is with us now. Stay where you are. We'll be right back.
Preview audiences have fallen in love with Memories of Me.
It's fantastic.
This is the best film I've seen all year.
It's like old times, talking about our problems.
We never talked about anything.
Why bring up problems?
It's a wonderful movie.
Exactly.
Billy Crystal, Alan King, Jo Beth Williams.
It just leaves you feeling so good.
Memories of Me.
It's a funny story.
Rated PG-13. Now in select markets. Opens Friday, October 7th.
It must be a dream. Pancakes and syrup for under 200 calories? Impossible. Aunt Jemima? Now there's Aunt Jemima light pancakes with her light syrup for under 200 calories. And they taste too good to be light. It is a dream come true.
In the morning.
The incredible Caramello. To fully enjoy every drop, one must lean back. For under all that creamy milk chocolate lies a luscious center of soft, flowing caramel. And if you're not careful, you may miss some. The incredible Caramello. Lean back and enjoy.
Need a Halloween sale where you'll find something for just about everyone.
Prime Mills Fleet Farm, we're just dying to save you money.
Shop Halloween savings for howling good prices.
Cut through the murky night with Sylvania halogen headlamps. At the rebate, 4 headlamp bulbs are only $3.99. 2 headlamp bulbs just $5.99.
And one animal safely away from your vehicle with the Save a Life Deer Alert, now only $9.99. So the price is so low that it's scary.
Shop now for Halloween savings at Mills Fleet Farm.
Cooking. What cooking?
Oh, Harry, if you're out there, give us a sign. I got hysterical. There's nothing wrong with holding a seance. You ever been to a seance?
No.
They brought all these people on, some of them with the, I guess, Academy of Magical Arts, and they all sat around, I guess, former friends of Houdini, who died, 61 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's true, Mrs. Houdini did try for about 10 years. He apparently had some word that he had left with her. And, he was a put-down of spiritualist, and he said, if you can come back, I will contact you. And she held this seance for 10 years and said, packed it in. And so they did it last week on television. And they had all these people sitting around. They had all these artifacts in a book and, I guess, a sandwich Houdini had once eaten or something. I don't know. Well, not a sandwich.
Oh, a sandwich.
A ticket for a sandwich or something. And they all sat around saying, give us a sign, like things were going to move. And he didn't show, which didn't exactly surprise me. Anyway, hello, Harry. And I sat there and I got hysterical because the guy who was doing it, and I don't want to put anybody down, was wearing a suit that was not fitting, an ill-fitting suit. Right. And I said, maybe you could contact your tailor first. Before you try for the big one. Oh, Murray, could you come fix me a nice suit? Wouldn't even contact his tailor. How are they going to get? How many of you believe you can, in reincarnation, or you can come back?
Not many.
Everybody here is reincarnated tonight. It's kind of a nice, happy thought, isn't it?
Yes.
My birthday was last week, and I got a lot of nice... No, I didn't say it for that reason. And after the show, my writers, my loyal... writers are strange guys.
Yes.
There are a lot of nice guys who work on the show. They're cynical, but they have strange sense of humor. And there are a lot of guys who work on the show. Mike Berry, Jim Mulholland, Ray Siller, Hal Goodman, Larry Klein, Bob Keane, Kevin Mulholland, Darryl Vickers, and Andrew Nichols, and Patrick Verone. And they brought me a gift. Now, I don't know whether you'll understand this or not, but back here on this table for years, and I don't know when this first started, we have kept two props, which are hard to explain.
Yeah.
One of them is this arrow. We did a sketch many, many years ago.
Custer's Last Stand?
That played so badly, it just died. And I said, just put that back there to remind us that at any time we can go right into the tubes.
Right.
And the other is I guess, what is a fowl that's synonymous with comedy.
Right.
A chicken. A rubber chicken. This is the original rubber chicken. It's getting a little beat up.
Seen better days.
If the chicken is just about ready to go to that great coop up in the sky, but we keep the chicken back here. It's just kind of a, what do you call it? What's the word I want? Not a symbol, a superstition. It's a superstition. Anyway, the writers came out the other day and presented me. Oh. Well, I treasure this more than any Emmy I've ever won on the show. And here it's a chicken which is supposed to be bronzed. It's actually silvered, and I'll tell you what happened. And they have a little plaque here. It says, Hic Cluckus Haltus. Means the joke stops here. 1962, the writers. Isn't that lovely?
That's terrific.
Along with this was a type sheet called Chicken Chronology. And they detailed how this came about. September 28, 12:15, writers think of perfect gift idea. September 28, 2:15, phone Silversmith told him we need a bronze chicken for silver to take hold. September 28, phone bronzer told we need as hard a rubber chicken as possible for bronzing. Now, can you imagine calling a guy and say, do you have a hard rubber chicken? September 28th. Phone every novelty store in town. Nobody has a hard rubber chicken. September 28, 4:15, phone novelty item distributor. He has only hard rubber chickens left due to holiday rush on soft chickens. We order chicken. September 30th, chicken delivered to Tonight Show, personally inspected by writers for its hardness. Then, September 30th, p.m., chicken sent to bronzer. October 20th, p.m., chicken released from bronzer after being bronzed and polished 4 times. October 21st, chicken at Silversmith being silvered. October 22nd, find out from bronzer that chicken should have been mounted on base before bronzing. Uh-oh. October 22nd, Greg Elliott of Tonight Show Props assures writers base can be manufactured for silvered rubber chicken on NBC premises. October 22nd p.m., engraved description for plaque ordered by phone. October 23rd, chicken put on pedestal by Tonight Show Prop Department. And October 23rd p.m., plaque attached to chicken pedestal in time for official presentation. Writing of plaque inscription left until last minute, as usual. And that is the chronology of the chicken. So thank you, guys. And I want to thank all the little people. You know, that's what they usually say. That's funny. That's something you put up in your map. Right. Okay, in a moment, George C. Scott will be out here. We have a young comedian by the name of Joanne Astro and the amazing Randy, fresh from the search for Harry Houdini.
Day after day, more people depend on Subaru wagons than any imported wagon in America. And with good reason. They're reliable and durable. In fact, if Subaru didn't make your life easier...
Honey, is dinner ready?
Who would?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
I was in agony. I hurt all over. The doctor said there was no permanent damage. He gave me a different medicine. It's in these little yellow Nuprin. Got rid of that pain. Know what else? It works great on my tough headaches.
Nuprin. It's not aspirin, not Tylenol. It's ibuprofen.
2 Nuprin stop my headaches better than extra-strength Tylenol. And Nuprin's gentler on my stomach than aspirin.
Nuprin. Little, yellow, different, better.
It even worked on my worst pain.
A vote on national priorities. Take money that's used for politicians' newsletters and use it to fund Alzheimer's research to help the elderly. Dave Durenberger is one of only 2 senators to vote against helping the elderly. In fact, the congressional record proves Durenberger voted against Medicare 19 times. Now Durenberger calls any challenge to his record a distortion. But this independent senior group calls his record a disgrace. Who do you believe? Durenberger's ads or the record?
For those little trips that turn into wild adventures, suddenly there's the new 4-door Mitsubishi Montero. V6 power and 4-wheel drive help you avoid snarling beasts. Montero offers surprising comfort under the most savage conditions, and it even has more room than Jeep Cherokee. The new 4-door V6 Montero, because sometimes it's a jungle out there.
Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice.
Hello, Harry, if you hear us. Hello, I'm still looking for Harry to come back. My first guest, everybody knows. He's a good friend. He's a marvelous actor. Everything he's in, he walks away with a picture. And right now, he's currently starring in a situation comedy called Mr. President, which is on, as they say, another network. Would you welcome George C. Scott? Yeah. See, actors really know how to take a bow.
What a group. I can take them over to Paramount with me. Come with me. Yes, to my show. My goodness.
You know how to take a bow. Theater people know how to take a bow, right?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. When you come out for the curtain call, I remember once seeing, I think it was Ethel Merman in Gypsy. And at the close of the show, you know, and the curtain goes up and the cast comes out, and she came out and literally milked that audience. It's like if you didn't applaud, she was going to come out and grab you by the throat. She would slowly walk over here, look at the audience, stand there, and do this. Well, the audience had to applaud. And then just as about as it died, she'd walk to the other side, pause, drop the head. It was wonderful to watch. Wonderful.
I love British actors. They go...
Yeah.
September morn. What are they worried about? I don't know.
You know what I think that is? It's like showing vulnerability. Like,
yeah, I think so. And modesty.
Yeah, a little modesty and humility. Would you describe yourself as a modest person?
Yeah, yes.
Would you?
As opposed to egocentric, you mean?
Yeah, sure.
Certainly, absolutely.
Certainly?
I'm so nervous I got to smoke, don't you?
Come on, what are you nervous about?
I can't show the brand, though. There's only 2 people alive left that smoke these. Everybody else is dead.
Don't show the brand.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, you're talking major lawsuit here.
You didn't say a word.
Don't say anything. Okay. Only 2 people left.
The rest, finished.
Well, then, now, people have got to say at home. They said, George C. Scott just pulls out a cigarette. And since there are only 2 people left who smoke this, and yet he pulls one out. Now, how would you answer that?
I also just celebrated my 60th birthday last week. It's very bad. I tried to quit so many times. I quit for 4 months this spring.
I know
Weighed
you did.
250 pounds.
You did gain a little weight, didn't you? Yeah. But isn't that temporary? They say you gain
It's
and then...
metabolistic or something. I don't know what causes
Yeah. Well, as long as you're comfortable with it. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
The theater.
Yes.
If you had your druthers... I saw you with Larry King one night. Very
Yeah.
good. He's a marvelous interviewer.
He is a good interview.
Yeah, he's very good. And you were talking about the theater. I get the feeling, if you had your druthers, but playing television, motion pictures, you'd like to go and do the theater.
Yeah. When you start out there, it's true. It's, I tried to, somebody asked me that the other day. I tried to remember what it is. But it's not the live audience and that ambiance or whatever you want to call it. But more than anything else, I thought it's the language that is kind of a heritage that stage actors are very lucky to have that other actors schooled elsewhere do not have. Film, certainly you don't get them in situation comedies like I'm in now.
Yeah.
And,
well, there was a time when somebody from the theater, if you'd have even suggested television, would have looked at you like, television?
Yeah, and that's wrong, too.
Yeah.
But the language stays with you for the rest of your life. And I was thinking maybe I'd lay a little something on you to show you what I mean. The beauty of it and the charm of it and the wit of it. It's not just the classics, not just Shakespeare or something like that, but some of the modern people,
For example?
Fry, Genet, Ennui. And I thought of a piece I used to do from Christopher Fry's The Lady's Not for Burning. It was a big success a number of years ago with Gielgud and Pamela Brown, and the very young Richard Burton at the time was playing the juvenile lead. And it's in blank verse. Now, don't panic, folks, because... Have I got enough time for this?
Sure.
You say blank verse, I always thought, it's a bunch of Greeks running around in a burlap and bare feet and pulling each other's eyes out. It's terrible. Long speeches. This is love. You don't even have to watch. Just listen. But we got to do it like the mighty Carson art players. You see, I got a part for you and a part. You don't do anything. Just sit. Ed is a beautiful young woman who has been accused of being a witch. Erroneously, of course, because she's innocent. And she's going to be burned at the stake. And you, John, play the mayor of the town, who's also naturally the town magistrate, who's condemned her to death. Oily, unctuous, mean, cruel, venal, corrupt. Perfect part, John.
Good, thank you.
And I play a guy who walks in off the street, sort of a street bum, also typecasting. And he, in order to take attention away from the lady, maybe so she can escape, he says that he's committed a couple of murders of local citizens. And maybe they'll hang him.
Do we have any lines at all?
No, you just sit there.
I see, all right.
And at the height of this argument, he turns to the mayor and he says, you bubble-mouthing, fog-blathering, chin-chuttering, chap-flapping, liturgical, turgidical, base old man, what about my murders? And what goes on inside that head of yours, huh? What funny little murders chatting up and down in 3-4 times, afraid to come out. What bliss to sin by proxy and do penance by way of someone else. But we'll not talk about you. No. Neither about this exquisitely mad young woman nor about anybody but me. I'm due to be hanged. Good Lord. Aren't 2 murders enough to win me the medals of damnation? Must I put half-dozen children on a spit and toast them at the flame that comes out of my mouth? You let the fairies fox you, while the devil does you. Concentrate on me. That's it. I like that. Nice? Haven't done that in years.
You never forget that.
No. Must be 25 years.
George said he hadn't done that for 25 years, and yet the lines, you were doing them like they were ingrained in
Lovely
there.
stuff, isn't it? Lovely.
That is
Thank
great.
you. Thank
That's, well, thank you. That's the kind of stuff we normally don't get on our on a lowbrow show like we have. It's nice to bring a little class into this show occasionally, you know. Holding up a rubber chicken and doing that. And
That's good.
Something the ladies not for burning. I mean, we try for every class.
Some of the dogs I've been in.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back. That was marvelous.
You've got a sore throat.
Repeat after me.
You need nice spray. Nice cools your throat, showers your pain with medicine pleasantly, so you can have a nice day.
My brother just did something very smart.
Very smart.
He got this amazing new picture-in-picture TV.
Yep, Magnavox did it again.
Now we could watch 2 shows at once, so we never fight over the TV anymore.
We hardly never, in fact, we never fight anymore.
We could watch one show and preview another.
We can even reverse the picture.
How smart of Tom to get a TV this smart.
How smart of him to say how smart I are.
How smart I are?
Him too.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
Remember the movie that let you believe in magic? Now you can believe again and again with Walt Disney's Cinderella. Available on video cassette for a limited time, the magic of Cinderella is forever.
Come on into Coast to Coast.
At Coast to Coast, we have a wide selection, name brand merchandise, and competitive prices.
Save now during our fall sale on the new 6-gallon shop vac with removable leaf blower. Powerful wet dry vacuum plus detachable portable power blower. Only $59.99. And stock up on Philips weatherproof outdoor spots or floodlights. Your choice only $1.99 after rebate at your local Coast to Coast hardware store.
In this day of mergers and acquisitions, when banks have been taken over by entertainment companies.
Next.
When cereal companies have been taken over by shoe companies. Avis Incorporated is happy to remind you that we've been taken over by someone who actually knows something about the rent-a-car business, the Avis corporate employees.
Let's show them how great a rent-a-car company can be.
Have a great trip.
Avis, we're trying harder than ever.
When Nick Tattinger speaks, people listen.
I got shot at again.
Why can't you be like the other fathers? They never get shot at.
I will change, you'll see.
You'll never change. That's why I divorced you.
So you're Norman.
How do you do?
Fine. Is she still a screamer?
A guy who speaks for himself. Stephen Collins comes to Tattinger's October 26th.
Skaters, here's great news. Sporting Goods, Inc. of Brooklyn Park now offers the first skate leasing program in the Twin Cities. Sporting Goods, Inc.'s exciting new skate leasing plan features hockey skates by Rydell, Bauer, and CCM, and figures by Rydell. We guarantee skate leasing will save you money over buying, and we guarantee fit for the entire season. Stop in at 7711 Brooklyn Boulevard in Brooklyn Park or call 560-4630.
If you think you can handle the big, bold taste of extra gold draft, hang on. This is the full tilt draft real beer drinkers have been thirsty for. And it looks like they aren't gonna let go. Grab hold of an extra gold. It's the biggest taste that's happened to beer since they put it in cans.
Choosing the location of a new Highland Superstore is serious business. It takes months of exhaustive research, and grand opening savings have to be planned for every Highland store. Like this compact microwave oven with automatic timer, just $69. So where will the new Highland store be?
Your decision, sir?
Highland's new store is in Roseville, located in the Harmar Mall. Sale now through Wednesday.
Group 1 Medical, weekdays at 11 on TV 11.
Thank you, Doc. The amazing Randy will be out later. We're talking to George C. Scott. Have you always worked under George C. Scott, never just George Scott?
Yeah, George C. I did it on purpose because I noticed when I was a kid that if you had an initial like Edward G. Robinson. Nobody ever heard of Edward Robinson, right?
You're right.
There was white space in there, so I said, I threw that middle initial in there. God knows what it stands for, folks.
Yeah, I'm not even going to ask.
No, don't ask. No.
Harry S. Truman. How many people, do you know how many people what the S stood for in Harry S. Truman? Absolutely nothing. There's no middle name, just, maybe that's the same thing. He wanted that kind of nice ring to it. Harry S. Truman. I asked George during the break where the term, we've never been able to figure it out. When you say you're in a turkey, for example, on Broadway, or yeah, I guess it could be any kind of a show, you say, well, it was a real turkey, which means it's a bomb. Now, if you're in England, you have a bomb, that's a big hit, right?
That's a big hit.
Yeah, if you say, oh, I was a bomb in England, that's a smash. But over here, they say it's a turkey, and we've never been able to run that down. Do you ever have any idea?
No, I have no idea.
Some people thought it was maybe that a Thanksgiving Day audience came and they'd eaten too much food, so they didn't react or something, or were lethargic, and they call it a turkey, but I don't know.
Lots of times we put, on animals, we put, there's a word for that, I don't know.
Anthropomorphic, I believe.
Pythagorean, hello.
Isn't anthropomorphic when you give living qualities to an inanimate object?
That's right. Absolutely.
I think so. I keep a little thing
anyway,
like that file away just in case I get on a quiz show.
Lay that in there.
Yeah. A turkey, and I don't know why. Well, actors hamming it up.
Hamming it up?
He's a ham actor. Now, where would that come from? Freddie, you should know these. A ham actor.
Hamlet.
From Hamlet? You think so? In other words, guys who would overact the part of Hamlet would ham it up.
Very good.
Well, that makes sense. That was Jim McCauley and Mandolci. Agree on that? All right. Did you ever play Hamlet?
Never played Hamlet. I played a lot of others, but I was never a romantic lead, unfortunately.
Really?
Or fortunately.
Well, you could have played Hamlet very well. Or do you rather play Polonius?
I wasn't very pretty.
Something like that.
Sort of ugly.
How about Macbeth?
Macbeth I once played. I played Richard III, of course.
Yes. I took a little theater in college, and I got so embarrassed. I always had a comedy bet, and I would start to, when I went out to do something serious, I always thought people were going to laugh. And so I could never do it.
Yeah.
I had to go out and do that awful thing. What is this, a dagger in my hand? And I just... Now, what is it? What causes that? Just a bit insecure, or you think people are going to laugh at you?
Sure, you know that. And the fear mounts upon itself, feeds itself. It's not an easy
You ever
job,
suffer
folks.
from stage fright? Real, genuine, terrible stage fright?
Absolutely. Everyone does. They say you're dead if you don't.
Yeah, what do you do to get over it?
You don't. Throw up. I used to throw up all the time.
Now, people won't believe that. I've known other performers who would do that after the show or before and then go out and be brilliant.
I always used to throw up a lot. Couldn't eat at all. Terrible.
Now, I knew actors, believe it or not, who couldn't do radio shows. Now, the audience really didn't even see them. They stood there with a script and did radio and absolutely would panic. I guess of having to talk into a rather inanimate... Yeah. What's the worst... What's the shortest run you ever had? Did you ever open and close in one night?
I wish I could say to you that it had only happened once. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Trish and I had a play on Broadway with some of our own money in it one night a few years ago. I think I hold a record. I opened a show that I produced, directed, and starred in on Broadway. We opened on a matinee and didn't make it to the evening
You're kidding. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to open these old... I was open the matinee and never opened the evening.
Got there for the night, yeah. And I was in a play one time in England. We opened in England, and the audience, maybe I told you this, the audience rose as one and booed.
Oh,
one person. Boo! It's a little hard to take.
Oh, that's murder. And you gutted it out to the end?
We did. Oh, it was awful.
And did not return?
That was the end.
And did not return? That was it? I just thought of, I don't mean to top your story. No. Speaking of the audience standing, Dick Martin and Dan Rowan, who passed away just about a month or so ago, used to tell me a story. They were working a place, I think, in some nightclub. And you remember the story, Ed?
Yes.
And it was like a bunch of conventioneers. And they were just terrible. And they were dying. They had tried everything. They'd given it their best A material. So Dan and Dick, in the middle of this, started to sing something like some song. I don't remember what the song was. And they got up, and they were going around the table singing, and went right out the door to their room and never came back. He just left. He said nobody missed him at all. Just left. Insecurity. We'll be right back. Stay where you are.
True story.
find out if the carpet that I just bought from you has this stain protection that's locked in the fiber, you know, before the fiber becomes a carpet? What do you mean? It's not locked in that way unless it's a wear-dated carpet. But a wear-dated carpet isn't what you sold me. Well, what's mine then?